There's many secret storylines in Season 3, like the Wanderer appearing back in Chapter 2, Season 6 for the first time, a survey skin which matches up perfectly with this mysterious character, and yes, the Wanderer being the beginning of the return of the Herald and the Cube Queen. We're going through 6 theories in Season 3, starting with the Wanderer's first appearance because Fortnite's newest villain is the Wanderer, but he's been around for over 3 years. Yes, during the Zero Crisis event back in Chapter 2, Season 6, there's a split second in it where a reality-distorting wave sweeps over the camera. Look around and you'll notice the game turns into reality. Everything's quality is enhanced, but also 3 characters are added. Each of these are praising the 0 point. But look close at the one dressed in a white cloak and you'll find what players are speculating to be the Wanderer 3 years before his initial release this season. But to explain this and how the Wanderer even ended up here in the first place, we have to look back all the way to his origins. Before this, the first time the Wanderer was explicitly mentioned in-game was in Chapter 5, Season 1. This began with the build-up to Pandora's box, and on early concept art for the box, you can spot a cloaked figure. This is the Wanderer. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and looking at this art from the box, it tells an entire story. The panel on the left reveals the gods in peace in the heavens above, and then displays the Wanderer, followed by some swooshing lines. These are symbolistic of a transition, and the next panel on Pandora's box shows what we can assume to be a character coming to life. This is the Titan being generated and brought to life, summoned by the peace below him. This is a scarab, and it's an artifact inspired not by Greek but Egyptian myth. This will be very important later in the video because it hints at a possible war between mythologies, but we'll touch on this soon. Scarabs are known to be used to resurrect, and it's assumed that the Wanderer activated the scarab to summon a Titan, bringing a new set of Titans to the island to the 4th and final panel. Maybe this was the guy under the map. But also, in Greek mythology, there was a war between the Olympians and the Titans after the latter ones abused their power. This battle shook the world and ended with the Titans being banished to the underworld. What's even crazier is that there's hidden details on the map that show this already happened in the Fortnite island as well. All over the map last season, you might remember in Olympus and the underworld bombs, there's giant weapons and signs of damage in buildings that tell a story from another era. It's clear that the Battle of the Gods and Titans took place sometime before Season 2 began and after both were unreleased from Pandora's box. You may ask, how is the Wanderer connected to all of this? We can assume he's the one that used the scarab to resurrect the Titans and cause this war, which could imply the Wanderer is someone entirely different from what we initially thought, possibly making him a being from another mythology, being Egyptian. We know there's Greek gods in the Fortnite universe, meaning it's also possible there's other mythologies existing, especially Egyptian ones, evident by many skins in the skin surveys and concept art of the scarab. This has massive implications because it could result in a season dedicated to battle between mythologies. We know Pandora's box is the focus of Chapter 5, and we haven't seen the last of the Olympians yet. So if they discover the Wanderer, a possible god from Egyptian mythology, has also been unleashed from where he was imprisoned, it could result in an all-out war between Greek and Egyptian gods. We still haven't seen all the Greek mythology skins released in game, and there's a lot of ancient Egypt inspired skins as well in the survey, so perhaps Epic is saving those for an upcoming season. And if you ask me, the possibility of a season just like this sounds super cool. Assisting this theory of the Wanderer being some kind of celestial being is a new leak found just recently that reveals a new version of his cloak inside the game files. He was supposed to have a galaxy texture within his inner cloak, but from the looks of it, it's not used in the final version. It could, however, hint at one of the other most speculated theories in the community right now, which is that the hooded figure's connection with the 0 point. If the Wanderer truly was the cloaked character seen praising the 0 point in Chapter 2 Season 6's trailer, it leaves everyone questioning how we got here in the first place, or maybe even how we went back to this moment. Time travel just isn't new to the Fortnite storyline because we've seen many characters use it, especially during Season OG with the time machine. The 0 point itself plays a key role to time travel as well, since it exists across all time, and we've seen how it can mess up time around it, with a prime example being Season X when it returned Dusty Divot to the time it was about to be hit by the meteor. Therefore, some consider it possible that the Wanderer is also just a time traveler using the 0 point to jump through timelines. The 0 point's connection to the Wanderer is undeniable because when he's walking around, you can see a reality distortion effect around him following wherever he goes. You'll know that this is the same effect used for the 0 point in Chapter 2 Season 5, which would be around the same time that the cloaked figure can be seen praising the 0 point. This doesn't only mean that the storyline's been planned all along, but the Wanderer praising the 0 point in some sort of ritual might have been what gave him his reality distortion aura and maybe even his time traveling abilities if true. There's 2 other characters spotted with him though, one wearing an all black cloak and the other who we can't quite make out, so there could be more mysterious characters infused with this 0 point aura too, which could be arriving later. Which takes us to the Wanderer's motive, what he truly seeks on the island, and what his purpose is. According to some of Megalo Don's voice lines, the Wanderer wants to be left alone since he's doing research on the island, but the both of them actually share a common goal. This seems to be backed by Hope herself, who ever since she got access to Pandora's gems has been having visions in the form of dreams of Megalo Don and the Cloaked Wanderer working together. Megalo's plans for the island are pretty simple. Once he fuels his Leviathan ship, he's gonna ravage the entire island, possibly splitting it into two until it's destroyed and he can finally leave it and move on to his next target. If that does happen, that would mean the 0 point would yet again be exposed and vulnerable to any threats, and this is just exactly what our cloaked character wants. If the Wanderer finds it, he could have the opportunity to set his plans in motion, either by using it to visit other points in the timeline or even to destroy the island, but that all really depends on who really lies behind his mask. And according to Megalo Don, that is beyond comprehension.
That was beyond the debaixo do capuz para ver seu rosto. Seria uma visão além do que suas mentes insignificantes poderiam compreender.
This is a good time to remind us that Magneto's already in search for the 0 points location thanks to the Marvel Rift beacons, and this whole storyline is going to reach its climax next season with the arrival of Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four. So one way or another, the 0 point will be found, and the Wanderer's actions to it will be crucial. Despite of that, there's already a faction that's relentlessly attempted to destroy the 0 point whenever exposed, and that's the Last Reality, who some think is very likely to be making a return after a find that changes everything. During the Fracture event, the Last Reality temporarily succeeded, destroying the island after the Herald sacrificed herself and chromed everything on the island, including herself, in the process merging with the reality tree. After that, she was spotted on the Chapter 4 Season 1 map in the form of the decayed reality tree, but she was quickly lost when the ground on the Chapter 4 map collapsed, revealing the jungle. The where she went afterwards is unknown, but eagle-eyed fans spotted a skin in the survey. With the addition of a new element in the storyline, it's likely we know how she's gonna return. In the survey, there's this remixed version of the Herald in a fossilized form and what was initially thought to be amber on her. However, just recently we saw something that really resembles these, and those are Pandora's orbs as well as the gems. Not only that, but there's also an explanation that ties Pandora's box with the nitro substance and potentially reveals how the Herald will come to be again. Last season, we saw the Pandora's box vanish after the liquid inside its orb overcharged, leading it to jump across the island and become the sandstorm that arrived. It's seemingly confirmed that what we know as nitro fuel is the very essence of Pandora's box, and that's why all of Pandora's gems have been scattered around the sandy wasteland. Perhaps this could lead to the Herald rising in this fossil version after she'll be fused with the power of gems and nitro, restoring her to her former glory and maybe even more powerful than before. Which takes us to the Wanderer's true identity. We already know the Last Reality's taken inspiration from Egyptian mythology using the pyramid as well as ancient cube glyphs, and this is how the Wanderer could be connected. We only have one look at the face, and it's in the background of this loading screen where he or they are filtered in a black and white. Well, people frantically began searching through survey skins and they found this girl, one who had a jaw structure which is almost identical to the silhouetted face that we could see beneath the Wanderer's cloak in the loading screen. In it, the skin poses with the cube reminiscent of the Cube Queen and the Last Reality. Her final evolution or style that she could evolve into resonates with this yellow and blue fiery survey skin, meaning one thing: the Wanderer could potentially be a member of the Last Reality and by extension another alternate version of, you guessed it, the Cube Queen. This would make plenty of sense since it could explain how we'll return to Chapter 2's map, and once we do return, it'll be interesting to see another version of Chapter 2 Season 8 where we'll inevitably once again meet the Last Reality on our own terms. Just like the first season OG, it's expected that we'll also see a new version of the previous Chapter 2 end event leading to the island flip thanks to the Cube Queen once again, who this time could just be the Wanderer, though not enough is known yet for us to confirm his identity. More and more light's being shed to the mystery though, and at this pace it's just a matter of a few weeks until we finally learn who the Wanderer is and what's really at stake before we move into Chapter 6. Like and subscribe for more, and don't miss this insane theory.